And hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to take 2 of episode 49 of A Druid's Dozen. Yeah, I nearly finished it, and for some reason my camera switched off, so I'll have to do it all again, and very quickly, because I'm now getting pushed for time. So if I gabble through this episode, I apologise. Yeah, I'm the Rock Druid. My name's John. People call me the Rock Druid, not a name I gave myself. It was a name that was thrust onto me by various radio station managers. And basically, I do a couple of radio shows. There's the BCFM Sunday Rock Show, and on Bristol Local FM Radio in Bristol, and the Rock Druid on astroradio.earth. Descriptions are down there. Do the hand dance for the missus and press straight on with the first album. Here we go. AC/DC, Powerage 1978, the penultimate Bon Scott era album, and an album that I kind of tended to overlook. You know, one that kind of had this in my collection for years, but not one that I dragged out and played that often. And I wonder why, because it's got some great tracks on here. There's Cold Hearted Man's on this album, one of the riffs, the greatest AC/DC riffs ever. The 2 big singles, Sin City, Gone Shooting, Up to My, then other cuts like Up to My Neck in You, Kicked in the Teeth, downplay, the lovely sleazy downplayment blues, Give Me a Bullet. Great AC/DC album. Bon Scott's vocals, Agnes Young's guitaring, Malcolm Young churning away on the rhythm there. Meant to show you the back, I forgot. There's the back there. Yeah, all good stuff. You know, an album that kind of I've been rediscovering this week and loving every minute of it. So, quite highly recommended. AC/DC's Powerage 1978. Okay, next up, charity shop finds this week. Bon Jovi Bounce from, I think this is 2002. Maybe wrong, maybe right, I don't know. There's the front. There's the back. Yeah, there's the disc. Booklet. Got some weird greaseproof paper shit going on in here. Don't know what that's about. But anyway. Lots of photographs. Lyrics, etc. And I'll be honest with you, if it weren't for the fact that I found this for 50p in a charity shop, money going to our local hospice, I wouldn't be waving this in front of the camera now, because this album is pretty poor. You know, I love the early Bon Jovi stuff. The first 2 albums, especially upon its debut, 2800 Fahrenheit, are, you know, great records. This, however, is overblown, flabby Bon Jovi stadium rock by numbers for the brain dead MTV generation. There is no creativity in this album. I don't know why Richie Sambora even bothered to turn up for recording sessions. He can barely be heard. Everything's buried in walls of soppy keyboards and heart-wrenching MTV radio-friendly power ballady strings. The tracks are either naff kind of stadium rock, lighter wavers by numbers, or sappy power ballads. There's no real creativity in the music. The lyrics seem to be, although they're kind of address issues, they're addressing them in ways that kind of trivialise the issues kind of being raised. You know, there's kind of like, oh, I don't know. It's just crap. You know, I have played it. It may not get played again for a while, if at all, because it's just reassured my opinion that after those first 3 albums, Bon Jovi aren't really worth pissing on. Yeah, Bounce by Bon Jovi. Unless you're into this kind of shit, avoid like the plague. Here we go, Uriah Heep, 71, sorry. Look at yourself. The original pressing with the mirrored sleeve there. There's the front. There's the back. whip this out, lyrics, etc., album credits, and the Ken Hennessy writing about how they wrote it. Probably the album that kind of pulled Uriah Heep together as a band, nailed their sound. First album, just very heavy rock. Second album is very prog, Salisbury, and then this one came out, which kind of marries the two. Got the classic Uriah Heep lineup: Ken Hennessy, Mick Box, Dave Byron, Paul Newton on bass, Lee Keslake on drums. Just makes it for a great record. Every track of there is a highlight. Look at Yourself, I Want to Be Free, Tears in My Eyes, Shadow of Grief, What Should Be Done, the epic classic Love Machine, and then the other track, July Morning, a song that kind of has given rise to an Eastern European folk tradition, where people that like Uriah Heep go and sit by a lake with a ghetto blaster and listen to July Morning on the 1st of July at dawn as the sun comes up. Something I've done myself down by a local river, and it's quite an interesting little kind of experiment to do. And first Sunday rock show in July, my epic of the week break, which I'll play a long track while I go and have a coffee and a quick fag. First epic of the week break of July gets July Morning played. An album that I have loved ever since I first heard it back in the early 80s, and you know, one that I'll continue to love and cherish forever. Yeah, 1971, Uriah Heep's Take a Look at Yourself. Absolutely storming. Okay, next up we'll have a bit of a split. Here we go. Awesome Fromage by Fabulous Disaster versus the OC Toons. There's the front. There's the back. If I slip this out here, it's got promo written on it from the record company. You know, some people do fancy stickers, some people do embossing. Certain punk labels just write promo in marker pen. I don't know, I like it. There's the disc. There's behind the disc. Pop this out. There's a page from the OC Toons. There's a page from Fabulous Disaster. Lyrics and that. And there are the bands themselves and bits of information about them. Both bands are from California. Fabulous Disasters are all girl, kind of pop punky outfit. Bit of a street punk vibe going about them. Very entertaining. Their 4 tracks contribution on here: Turn the Lights Out, Black Eye, Tidal Wave, Suck It Up. I think Black Eye is my favourite of them, but they're all pretty much of a muchness. Just a really good kind of fun band. The OC Toons, My Addiction, My Own Life, Smile and Cry, Shut the Fuck Off. All great tracks. Shut the Off is a bit of an acoustic number, but everything else is kind of, again, sort of street punk, fun, anarchic stuff. I do like a split album. I've got very few on physical format. A couple of albums, a couple of vinyls, a couple of CDs. Although I do have quite a few downloads digitally. I've got to get some more. But anyway, if you like kind of multi-band releases, next week I've got a multi-artist, various artists compilation special. So dragging some interesting compilations out, but that's next week. 50th anniversary edition. But I think OC Toons are still going. Don't know about Fabulous Disaster, but both bands are worth a check. Should you care to have a go? Good stuff. Awesome Fromage, Fabulous Disaster versus OC Toons. 2006 this one came out. Need a bit of a fisherman's friend. Here we go. Next up, a bit of kind of cult underground guitar legends here. Birdie Torme, this is Turn the Lights Out, 1981. The album he released on the departure from Gillan, just before the formation of the great great band Torme with Phil Lewis. But anyway, this 1981 album is solo release, joined on here by Phil Spedding on bass, Nigel Gloder on drums, Colin Towns on keyboard. Again, another former Gillan Illuminary and ex-member of, I think it was Quatermass. But anyway, overall, just a great record from a great guitarist. Birdie Torme, he's got the kind of classic rock, kind of over-the-top approach of Hendrix. It's driven home with a kind of punk attitude, giving him a kind of almost unique sound. It's not shred and whittle. This is feedback and dive bomb. That's what the guy was great at. I saw him live both solo and with the band Torme, and yeah, the guy can do no wrong as far as I'm concerned. This album's pretty damn good. Probably not his strongest release, but it still has its moments. The title cut, of course, Chelsea Girl, No Reply, Oh No, India, Paint the Man, all good tracks, all shows Birdie Torme. Both, not only as a great guitarist, but as a great songwriter as well. Yeah, highly recommend that you give this, you try and track this one down and give it a listen. I don't know whether it's still available. Of course, sadly, Birdie Torme went the great gig in the sky a year or so ago, but you know, he's got a legacy behind him, and this is part of it. Birdie Torme, Turn Out the Lights, 1981. Good stuff. Okay, next up, something local. Local to me in Bristol here at least. This is My Museum and the One Blood mini album. 10-tracker, although 4 of the tracks on here are kind of acoustic versions and remixes, etc. Yeah, My Museum, kind of alt-rock band out of Bristol. Take their inspiration from bands like Biffy Clyro, but don't let that put you off. I know Biffy Clyro's not exactly everybody's cup of tea, but I quite like them. And, you know, in that vein, My Museum are pretty damn fine at what they do. Very intelligent alternative rock. Highlights on here, Wake Up, All the King's Men, of course, All the King's Men, I keep forgetting about that one. Really cool stuff. This band have got about 3 EPs out and are still technically going. So this one came out in 2014. Although, like I said, I think there's one, a more recent one than this. And after lockdown, if you see them coming to your town playing live, go see them. They're very, very good, very entertaining. I've interviewed them in the studio a couple of times on BCFM. I've seen them live a few times. These guys can deliver, and both on record and live. So I hastily recommend that you check this band out. Yeah, My Museum, the One Blood EP from 2014. Next up, a bit of pop punk. Here we go. This is Ash, and probably their best known album, 1977. Yeah, snotty-nosed Belfast punks. Came out around about the same time as Therapy, but whereas Therapy were kind of, you know, that's kind of screaming hardcore, Ash very much in the pop punk vein. But, you know, don't let the words pop punk fool you. We're not talking about, you know, My Chemical Romance, Blink 182 kind of stuff. British pop punk tends to be, it may be commercial, but it's got a bit more grit to it than some of the American stuff has. Ash have got a lot of grit to them. I like Ash. Yeah, they're sort of band that, for at one point, after they had their brief moment in the sun, charity shops were full of their albums. I took the opportunity to go and grab them and explore, and liked what I heard. So this is probably their biggest selling, best known album. Came out in 1996. Contains the hits Girl from Mars, which is probably one of my favourite Ash tracks. Very much fun kind of number. Other cuts on here: Kung Fu, Innocent Smile, Angel Interceptor, Dark Side, Light Side. All good tunes. The band are on fine form. So there's the front. I meant to say this. There's the back. Pop this out. There's the disc, and Yeah, so I'm rushing today. Like I said, I got within about 30 seconds of finishing the video and it went blue. So I've had to go on and restart from scratch because I haven't got any editing equipment at the moment, so I can't edit jumps together. Something I'm working on rectifying, but anyway, folds out, big kind of photo montage things here. But anyway, yeah, not much else to say really. Ash, good fun band, you know, and to me that's what punk should be about. Yeah, you can get serious and talk, you know, your lyrics and that, but overall punk has got to have a fun anarchic attitude, and Ash have got that in bucket loads. So yeah, if you've not experienced Ash before, give them a go. You might like, and this is a good place to start. 1977 is the album, 1996 the release date. Okay, bit of new over British heavy metal. Here we go. This is Hellenbach. Now hear this. There's the front. There's the back. Whip this out. Hellenbach themselves. More pictures of the band and some basic album credits there. Now this lot came out of Newcastle. No, but just in case you're interested. There we go. Neat Records. One of the classic new over British heavy metal labels. Yeah, came out of the northeast. This album came out in 1983. I think they've done some other stuff as well, some singles, maybe another album, but this is the only thing in my collection at the moment, unfortunately. Good record. It's not earth-shattering. It's not great. It's not bad either. It's just kind of very typical new over British heavy metal. You know, things like times are getting harder, motivated by desire, taken by surprise, let's get this show on the road. All pretty good. They're solid songs. They're nothing earth-shatteringly brilliant, but you know they hold together well. Highlight on here is surprisingly a cover of the Walt Disney song "Everybody Wants to Be a Cat" from the film Aristocats. Which kind of, and they do a pretty straight version of it as well, kind of a bit jazzy, and then the kind of, you know, kind of thrashy kind of middle section where it all breaks down at the end. Yeah, they play it straight and do a good job of it. And I hate Disney, so you know, to do a version of a Disney song that I like, they must be doing something right. Overall, not an earth-shattering album, and not one that I would say is essential new over British heavy metal listening. But you know, if you're collecting the genre and you want an interest in it or think to drop into your collection, this is all right. Yeah, 1983. Now hear this by Hellenbach. Okay, next up, something local to me. Again, and something obscure. This is the Pneumatics by the Pneumatics. Again, charity shop find. Picked this up a few years ago. I didn't know anything about them. It was just with a batch of albums that I did know a few things about, including the Croquet Field album, which I talked about recently, and a couple of other kind, I think the Black Fire album, some other local band stuff. So I grabbed this. 25 people, good call, so why not? And yeah, it's not bad. It's a bit indie. You know, if you think kind of Snow Patrol, Franz Ferdinand, maybe hints of the Kaiser Chiefs, that's roughly where they're coming from. It's kind of, it's quite intelligent, it's quite listenable, not earth-shattering, but you know, it's a local release demo from a local release band. All I've managed to find out about these guys is they came out of Somerset, were active around about the mid-2000s, and at one point BBC Radio Somerset were giving them a lot of radio airplay and interviews and saying they were going to be Somerset's great white hopes for music, but sadly, you know, everything's kind of disappeared really, and they're not kind of that much prominent anymore. Shame. But because this album does show potential. BBC were right. Given a break, and no, unfortunately, kind of music is a lottery. There's a lot of crap that makes it big, and there's a lot of really good bands get nowhere, and these fall into that category. But a shame. But I don't know if any of the guys from Pneumatics ever hear this podcast or blog or whatever you want to call it. Rest assured, mates, that you've left behind you an obscure little album that kind of every so often someone's going to find a copy of and go, oh, that's not bad. Yeah, so the Pneumatics, oh, that's not bad. 2006. It may take some digging out, but if you see a copy in passing, get it. Okay, next up, all-time classic, Hawklords, 25 years on. Basically, this is Hawkwind under a different name. There was contractual reasons, and I can't remember if it was a record label or a management company. Basically, to break their contract, they broke up Hawkwind and reformed Hawklords. But then, kind of, lineup changes as well. Harvey Bainbridge and Martin Griffiths came in from Arc, kind of Barnstable prog band, and Steve Swindle's on keyboards, of course. Legendary kind of sight rock keys player. Anyway, definitely very much a Robert Calvert, Dave Brock penned album. Very much rounds up that part of that kind of Hawkwind sort of 76 to 79 period, where they're kind of exploring kind of almost kind of like post-punk, new wave, what would be later be called alt rock or indie maybe, but still keeping it very much Hawkwind with a great big Hawk stamp right through the middle of it. Bit of a concept album. There's the front, there's the back, and there's the images on the inner sleeve there, in case anyone's interested. Career pink label. Yeah, what the concepts on this album exactly is, I wouldn't like to say. Maybe I wasn't smoking what they were smoking at the time, but it's quite good. It's a good album. Contains a couple of belting Hawkwind tracks, including or Hawklords tracks or Hawks tracks, including Psy Power and Flying Doctor, both of which my band Alien Stashin have covered at various times, because we do like dropping a Hawkwind track into our live sets. Other highlights, the only ones: Age of the Micro Man, Only the Dead Dreams of a Cold War Kid, 25 Years itself. It's just a great album. And of course, when various sort of members that played in this album, notably Harvey Bainbridge, decided to put together a new kind of Hawkwind spin-off project, he realised that he was still found a member of Hawklords and owned rights to the name, so he took them and ran with it, and the Hawklords are still going to this day. Again, Alien Stashin have supported him a couple of times, and I have several of their albums, and they're a nice bunch of blokes. But yeah, Hawklords, 25 years on, from 1978, essential for any Hawks lovers. Good stuff. Okay, next up, another album which I consider almost essential. This is Meatloaf, Bad Out of Hell 2, Back into Hell. Waving this one because Jim Steinman sadly passed away the other week, and I've been re-listening to his solo stuff and his other stuff that he's done with Meatloaf, and some of his production work and that, and decided to wave this one in front of the camera in tribute. Yeah, there's the front, there's the back, there's the disc and Meat himself. Slide this out, there's some cracking artwork on here. Won't show you it all, but I'll show you that there. And a tiny picture of Jim Steinman on fire. Yeah, and believe me, on this album, Jim Steinman is on fire. It's the kind of the first full project he'd done with Meatloaf since the Dead Ringer album. in the early 80s. So this came out, 93, that's right. And now, so it's his first time working with Meatloaf for about 10 years or so. Interesting that some of the tracks on here, like Rock and Roll Dreams Come Through, Out the Frying Pan Into the Fire, was it Good Girls Go to Heaven, and Lost Boys Golden Girls, all tracks from his Bad for Good solo album that was kind of, I talked about a couple of months ago on this vlog, which is quite interesting one to check out. But here the songs have got rather than him trying to sing them himself, and he's not a great vocalist, competent but not great, handing him over to Meatloaf, who has got a fantastic set of pipes on him, you get this album comes to life. Other tracks include the massive hit single I'll Do Anything for Love, but I Won't Do That, which was #1 for forever when it came out. Life is 11, I Want My Money Back. And my favourite cut on here, the objects in the rearview mirror may appear closer than they are. A story about kind of relationships with your father and child abuse, and heart-plucking, beautiful piece of music, written to perfection and performed by perfection by Meat himself. And of course, Everything Louder Than Everything Else, the song that about drummers in the recording studio. But yeah, brilliant album. Essential listening for any Meat fans. Essential listening for anyone that's into the works of Jim Steinman. Not everyone's cup of tea, I admit that, Meatloaf, not everyone likes Meatloaf, but I know a lot of people do. And yeah. And also a quick note that one of my favourite pieces of architecture, the Chrysler Building on the front cover. Good stuff indeed. Yeah, great album. I played it again just this morning before I went out to just come back from having my COVID jab, the second part, and when I was getting ready I was playing this album and loving every minute of it. I might even play it again this evening. Yeah, Meatloaf, Bad Out of Hell 2, Back into Hell. Leads us to the final one. Now, I'm sorry I've rushed through these, but like I said, I got to this point and the camera shut down on me for some reason, and I haven't really got a great deal of time to go back and do it all again, so I'm doing a quick speed run version. But we're going to finish up with this. This is Judas Priest, Stained Class, 1978. Again, a bit like that AC/DC album I waved at the beginning of the show. An album that kind of, although I'm a massive Priest fan, an album that I've been kind of ignoring over the good few years, because it's not British Steel and it's not some of the other stuff that I really listen to. So I kind of dragged it out, gave it a listen, and Jesus, what have I been missing? Well, I know what I've been missing. It's a great Judas Priest album. Anyway, there's the front. Love the artwork on that, by the way. Great artwork. There's the back. Whip this out. There's the Priesty boys, looking very Judas Priest. There's the very minimal credits and that. Yeah, the classic, I think it's the last album to feature Les Binks on drums before Dave Holland joined them. But one of the classic early Priest lineup: Tipton, Downing, Hill, Halford. I say Les Binks. Great record. Re-exploring this album, cuts like Exciter, White Heat, Red Hot, Better By You, Better Than Me, Saints in Hell, Beyond the Realm of Death, The Hero's End. Show Priest for what they were, one of the greatest metal bands, still are, one of the greatest metal bands of all time. There's not a weak moment on this album. I've been playing it for the first time in a good few years and wondering why the hell I haven't been playing this album more often. Highlights for me include Rob Halford's vocals on Exciter. Stand by for Exciter, get down on your knees and repent if you please. Their fantastic guitar work on Beyond the Realms of Death. Glenn Tipton's guitar solo on that is to die for. You've got tracks like Invader, which are kind of almost proto thrash metal. Everything on here is absolutely storming. So yeah, if you haven't come across this album, it's one of the ones that you don't hear talked about that often in Judas Priest's back catalogue. Give it an explore. It's brilliant. And yeah, highly recommended. All Priest albums are pretty good with one or two exceptions, but this is the dog's bollocks. So that's it. And once again, I apologise for doing a speed run this week, or maybe you prefer a speed run rather than me waffling on a bit longer. Yeah, let me know in the comments, fast or slow. Let me know. Yeah, and so yeah, cool. I'll put I'll do the hand dance for the missus. It's over there, down there on YouTube, over there on Facebook. My missus likes the hand dance. Solo hand dance, reverse hand dance, double hand dance. Yeah. Check out the radio show should you care. Also, while you're here, why not give us a like? If you want to make a comment, let me know what you think about these albums. Was I wrong about the Bon Jovi album? Is it the best thing I've ever done? I don't know what my answer's going to be, but I want to hear your opinion. And and is there any albums that you kind of got that kind of you've rediscovered recently and gone, wow, why haven't I listened to that for the last couple of years? Because it happened to me a couple of times with the AC/DC and the Priest on there. So yeah, I'll be back next week, unless you tell me otherwise, with a back to the normal kind of 45-50 minute length. But until then, yeah, I'm out of here. Bye.